we go. We've got it now. Hi, Coach. Are you ready to start?
Yeah, fire away.
We'll start with Miss Karen Kornacki. Go ahead, Karen.
Hi, Coach. Great to see
Karen.
you.
Yeah, good seeing you.
You know, last year you dazzled us with some special plays in the Super Bowl that we had not seen at all. I just wonder, are there things you've been saving for the big game this time around that no one's ever seen, but your team has been working on all year?
We don't have any special plays in.
Oh, come on.
Am I just talking to you, Karen? I mean, come on now.
Go next to
we don't have anything else.
Let's go next to Omar Ruiz. Go ahead, Omar.
Hi, Andy. You and the coaching staff and the players have paid the front office a lot of compliments and vice versa. I'm wondering, is that organizational cohesion by design or a byproduct of the success you've had?
Well, I think that's the way it's been since I've been here. I think that's something that our owner promotes, and he's very complimentary to the people around him, whether it's Mark Donovan or anybody in the front office, and to the coaching staff and players. So we just follow his lead on that.
We'll go next to Jory Epstein. Go ahead, Jory.
Hi, Andy. How are you doing today?
Good.
Andy, I was wondering, your players have been active and vocal in social and racial justice causes dating back as early and even before with Patrick and Tyron in the video over the summer. What's the key to you as a coach supporting them in that, and how important do you think it is to support them institutionally?
Well, I think it's important for our lives here. I mean, I think that's, I think the more people get along, the better off we are, and the better place the world is. So we can sure get rid of a lot of garbage that is going on right now, and smooth it out, and just have a better life for everybody. So I think if we could do that worldwide, that'd be even better.
Let's go next to Sam Mellinger. Good, Sam.
Hey, Andy. People who know you well, I think, have described this like sort of abnormal steadiness in your personality and kind of how you work through, these wild ups and downs of the NFL. And I know that's something a lot of people in the league kind of pride themselves in. I'm just curious, from your point of view, is that a learned trait that you have to develop, or is that something that's sort of in you in the beginning that helps you with that?
Oh boy. I don't know that. I haven't studied that part. So, but I think I think you can evaluate better if you don't have the high highs and the low lows. I think and I'm in one of those positions where I teach and I evaluate. And so I think the more level-headed you keep it, the better. And it's a pretty, it's a high stress job. So, I mean, there's a lot of, when you're playing games and you're making a living at playing games, there are going to be times when you got to be under control or things get away from you. And you don't ever want that to happen.
Let's go next to Diana Rossini. Go ahead, Diana.
Andy, we don't have a lot more times to chat with you. I think we just have one more day. So looking ahead to Saturday evening, once you guys get in here, you guys will have your normal schedule. But have you put thought into maybe who's going to address the team, what your message wants to be? Is there something you can share with us about what you're planning the night before?
No, I've got something planned, but I'd rather just share it with the team and leave it at that. Diana, I'm not much on taking it out of that room right now, but there will be something going on. Yes.
Next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy. Curious how practice went today, and also which of the guys on the 53 did not practice?
Fisher didn't practice, and Willie didn't practice. Everybody else practiced.
Let's go next to Krista Patrick. Go ahead, Krista.
Thank you for your time today, Coach. I've heard you speak all season long to the parity of teams in the league, and I'm just curious with this matchup. There's such parity with the quarterbacks and the tight ends and wide receivers and special teams and defensive schemes. Is there one or two key elements you think may decide this game that you really have to focus in on when there's such parity?
Well, I think your turnovers obviously become an issue in games like this. Special teams can be a deciding factor, and then I always come back to the offensive defensive lines and how they play.
Next to Vahe Gregorian. Goodbye.
Hey, Andy. I know you spoke last year a little bit about your recollections of Lamar Hunt, but I'm trying to remember did you get to know him at all? And along those lines, with your respect for history, how much have you been conscious of what you guys are doing now, sort of tying back to the Chiefs' important history in the game? Yeah,
so I had a chance to meet Lamar all the way back to my first year as a head coach. I was standing outside the meetings. I'm going, man, I don't really know a soul here, at least not that well, other than my own owner and the people from our organization. And he walked up behind me and just tapped me on the shoulder and started just talking. He says, "Welcome to the National Football League. I've heard good things about you. I think you're going to be good for this league." And then we went from there, and he found out my brother was a geologist, and he was a geologist, Lamar was. And so we talked a little bit about family and that. And then I was able to come back for the 101 awards a couple different times. And I had another chance to meet Lamar, Clark, and just the family. So it was, I felt like before I took the job here, I felt like I knew the people that run this organization and do it so well.
Go next to Aaron Ladd. Go ahead, Aaron.
Coach, Tyreek a couple of times this year has kind of used that return specialist jab as a motivation thing. I kind of see it as a chip in the shoulder. Can you kind of talk about his competitive drive and now everything that he's been through, being back in the Super Bowl with a chance to go back to back?
You said Tyreek is what you said. Was that?
Yeah, Tyreek.
Tyreek, yeah. So I would tell you that he has worked so hard this year, and I think we've all seen that. Just his dependability and reliability, being out on the field every day, working hard every day, timing with the quarterback every day. You've really seen you've seen it day in and day out, and that excuse me, that takes a certain amount of toughness and determination to get yourself to that point. And then you look at the things that he whether it was tweeting out or whatever it was with his off, I'm not sure how it got out there, but it is different videos of his workouts in the off season and how he went about that and how hard he worked in the off season. It's great. Like I said before, it's great for young kids to see somebody with that much skill and ability work that hard. And he's done that. He's kept that very consistent throughout the whole year here.
We'll go next to TSN Canada, Farhan Lilja. Go ahead, Farhan.
There you go. Sorry, Coach. I just want to ask you, what you went through a year ago where there was this league-wide lockdown about Andy Reid getting his first Super Bowl title.
All right, I think we lost him. We're going to go to Blair Kirchhoff. Go ahead, Blair.
Andy, you've mentioned special teams a couple of times, or I've heard it mentioned a couple of times here. What's the balance between a player making a mistake and then the decision to stick with him after that mistake and instead of maybe replacing him?
Yeah, well, he's done good things for us. So if a player has done that, and then I normally have no problem sticking with him. And just saying that was just an odd one off, and we'll get back onto the positive. And Dave Tobe does a good job with that too.
We'll go next to Jeff McClain. Go, Jeff.
Andy, I'd hoped to ask Eric this question yesterday, but I wasn't called on, so that leaves you. the Eagles reportedly requested an interview with Eric Bieniemy, and I was wondering why it never happened. And did it have anything to do with the reported what was reported that the Eagles didn't want to pluck from your tree anymore?
Well, no, there was no formal interview form sent in. No, I mean no, they talked early about it, but there was nothing formally sent in.
And did you hear anything about them not wanting to pluck from your tree again? I mean, after Doug, is that something that ever filtered back to you?
No, not at all. No.
We'll go next to Santiago Tomasi. Go ahead, Santiago.
Thanks, Mr. Reid.
Yes.
I'd like to ask you about your O-line. You're having problems, you're having injuries, you have depth outs. How do you think your new O-line and the players are working to fight against one of the most difficult D-lines in the league?
Yeah, well, I would definitely agree with you that it's one of the best defensive lines that we'll be facing this year. And so we know and respect them a lot, Santiago, and we know that that we're going to have to play very well. And our my guys, they've been practicing hard the last couple of weeks here and trying to make sure that their technique and fundamentals are proper for playing against that group. And listen, we're not the prettiest bunch on the offensive line, but I've got scrappy guys, and they'll figure out how to do it well.
Let's go next to Sarin Petro. Go ahead, Sarin.
Coach, one of the common themes that people have discussed about the Super Bowl, I'd like to know, one, if you think it's true, and then two, how you handle it, is that the refs let you play a little bit more, that, you know, there's not going to be as many ticky-tack calls, and so you better be ready to maybe be roughed up if you're a receiver. Maybe the offensive linemen get a little more liberties. Number one, do you think that's true here in the Super Bowl, and how do you coach for it?
Yeah, so normally that takes place now. You know, the referee that's working our game, Carl Cheffers, he's done a couple of our games this year, so he knows us. We know him, and Bryant, the umpire, we know him. The back judge, all these guys have worked our game, so or have been in our training camps in years past. So. And I think Bruce would tell you the same thing. By the time you get to this one, they know you. They kind of know your players, and they've watched tape and so on. So they've got a pretty good feel on things. But yeah, no, I think they let you play within reason. They're still gonna call holdings and do those things, but within reason, they'll let you play.
And we'll go last to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy. I'm just wondering, obviously the obligations are different this year than they were last year, just not being on site, but how do you just sort of prepare your guys for all the excess stuff that they have to do this week?
Yeah, so we set a schedule. I tried to do the homework on it. We're the visiting team, so they had their choice. The Buccaneers had their choice of schedules, and so what we did was we set ours. Ted did a nice job. Ted Cruz did a nice job with that. And then we set our practice up around that and made sure that we were able to get done what we need to get done football wise. We got a lot of work done last week when it wasn't quite as chaotic. The demands weren't quite as heavy.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys, we'll have Tyron on podium 9.
All right, buddy. Hey, there's a badger let out of the cage.